I believe over the past 25 years, I must have told thousands and thousands of people, advised them to say Parshas Hamaan daily. This all started over 25 years ago. I was in shul, and my wife and I had recently gotten married. And as my mashkiach used to say, the first question in the Seches Kedushin is Kesem Minolan, where will the money come from? And this is always a big question, especially for couples who are trying to do the Kolel route in Israel, where rent is high and coal salaries are relatively low. How are you going to make it through financially? This was a big question in my mind. I was in shul, and I was really davening to Hashem. There was a sefer next to me, Sefer Tashbats, which was written by one of the primary Talmidim of the Maharam Rutenberg. The Maharam Rutenberg was unjustly thrown into jail because of false accusations. The goal was to try to get the Jewish people to redeem him for an exorbitant sum of money. And the Maharam Rutenberg paskin that you're not allowed to redeem him because it's too much money. So Gemara in Gittin says that Tikkun HaOlam, that we don't allow pidyon, we don't allow redemption, because then this will be done constantly. In any event, one of the psukim, I happened to open up the sefer randomly, looking for salvation, and I chanced upon Siman Reish Nun Vav, Siman 256, and I read it, and literally my socks were knocked off. I say that here, socks here, were knocked off, and it was really socks knocked off, because it said there, whoever says the Parshas Hamaan, the 32 psukim that the Torah describes the man, which is in Parak 16, 15, end of 15 and 16 of Shmos, whoever learns actually those verses every day, their parnasa will be guaranteed. Guaranteed. Okay, fine, guaranteed. Okay. A lot of people give you guarantees, but the thing which really struck me was the last two words. Was Vani Arif, Amrav Chalban. No, sorry. Yeah, Vani Arif, that just says, that's the wording in Tashbats. And I guarantee it. So, Tashbats was a Rishon, and I was taught by my Yeshiva, Siku Shlevsky, when a Rishon says something, take it really, really literally. So I took it literally. I later found out that it's actually not the wording Tashbats, it's actually the wording of the Gemara Shalmi itself, of Chalban, right, which could be connected with milk. Chalban. The Amoraim often took names for themselves based on their main halachic ruling. So maybe Rav Chalban Parnasa is connected with milk and money. So it's actually from the Amor. Rav Chalban said he guarantees it. Okay, what does that mean exactly? I can't tell you, but it sounds like it's a very firm promise that if you say it every day, it's guaranteed. Since we were in semi-dire financial straits, I decided that it was a good idea to start saying, and I did. And lo and behold, things got incredibly better. I'm talking about really, really better. And since then, what I started doing, I started saying it every day, but after a while it became a little bit rote. So I started trying to look for chidushim in it. And after many, many years of chidushim, it was time for my daughter to get married. And I looked through my chidushim and I tried to pick out the ones which I thought were the most apropos. And I put out a sefer in Hebrew called Lechem B'Neshamayim, which later became Praying with Joy 4. In any event, this was a great experience in my life. And I found later on in Svarim it says, whoever says Parshas Hamaan is like the Ochle Man. Chazal tells us the Torah was only given to the people who eat man. And I remember many years ago, Rav Zweig from Florida came and spoke in Shivas Beis Yisrael, which was in Be'akov, and he mentioned this Chazal. And I asked him, what does it mean? He said, you have to feel that the money's in the bank. A person who's worried all the time about money can't learn, but if you feel your panas is in the bank, then it'll be smooth sailing, so to speak. And this is what I've been trying to do for the past 27 years or so. My Rebbe, Reb Revda Zatzal, helped me very, very much on this. And of course, constant repetition of this parsha and understanding, as I write in my book, that there's 32 separate principles of Amunah B'Tachon, which we strengthen every single day, 32 which is the same gematria slave, that of course helps very much. Now, one of the major principles of Amunah B'Tachon, which is not outlined in Parshas Hamaan, and perhaps we could say it's not a major one because I also would be there, but I feel it's very significant, is staka. You have people who, when it comes to covered Shabbos, they spend a lot of money, and it's true, you need bitachon for covered Shabbos. And all the money they spend on Shabbos comes back. And my good friend, Rav Mordechai Machlis, has 100 people or more every Shabbos. He spends a fortune on money. He's been doing it for many years. Apparently, it comes back. So, my Rebbe, Rav Israel Orbach, told me, how much money do you spend on Shabbos? Like a chashuva guest, like an important guest is coming to your house. That's how much money you should spend. But in any event, that's as Shabbos goes. But I feel like a real litmus test of your money is how much stock you give. Right? To give Meiser. One time I was behind on my Meiser for over a month, maybe it was 2 months, and I was asked by one of my neighbors to watch their apartment, and there was a small problem in the apartment, and we had to call in a plumber of Shabbos, and the plumber came in. It turns out it was priced very expensive, so we didn't use him. But since he came Erev Shabbos, he charged us for the visit, and it was a very, very high number. It was something like 457 shekels on 23 agarot when it was changed into dollars. Anyway, I thought this is preposterous, absurd, especially since I'd accepted to pay this money from my own pocket because I didn't feel it was right charging the neighbors for this. But when I made a calculation, it was exactly the amount of money of Meiser I owed, down to the agura. And agura, those of you who don't know, is about a quarter of a cent. I was so amazed, I wrote the check immediately. And the plumber was so amazed, they said, you know what, I'm going to give this to the local community kollel. The money has to get to staka. And a strong sign of our Amunah B'Tachon is how much money we get to staka. Right? A person who appropriates, gives Meiser, right? And as many of my donors have told me, Meiser is not yours. It's extra money that's given to you in order to give it to staka. And if you give chomesh, that's even a greater sign of B'Tachon. And Rav Moshe Sternbach told me, when you give chomesh or meiser, you become a partner with the person or the institution that you're giving the meiser to, and you're partnering with God. You're a partner with God. So this is something really, really important. And I'll just mention, right? I'll mention that this week, my Kol Torz Chaim, was striving to train poskim for Klal Yisrael. We're doing our campaign. And anyone who will graciously donate their meiser or chomesh to us will be extremely grateful. If you want to do $85 a month for a year, I will personally daven for you for 40 days right here at the Kosel. And to be part of this initiative, please write to me at dytravis613@gmail.com. B'ezrat Hashem. If you like, I will also send you my PDF of my Sefer on Parshas Hamaan, either in English or Hebrew, and I'll send you the link to be part of this initiative to donate to our campaign. And if you send me the name of a beloved one and a little bit about the situation, so I will certainly daven for them as passionately as I'm able to. I'm right here at the Kozel every morning for 40 days, B'ezrat Hashem. So we could sum up here. If you want to be from the Ochle Man, from those who eat man, so I recommend highly saying Parshas Hamaan every day. The Malbim, in fact, says on the pasuk, Zed Dvar Asher Tziva Hashem. The man is described as Zed Dvar Asher Tziva Hashem. This is the word that Hashem has commanded. The Malbim says they were actually eating the words of Torah. The words of the man were actually what they were eating. They were eating Divrei Torah in physical form. And that's what the Ibn Ezra says, is that they had to turn these slaves into lamdonim, right? To go from chomer levanim, from bricks and cement, to kal v'chomer, to using a kal v'chomer, from learning about pyramids to learning the svaras of Reb Chaim Brisker. And the only way to do this really was to sharpen their mind, and for that they needed the man. You could eat man every day by saying Parshas Hamaan. I highly recommend it. And try it for a month. Try it out. And you'll see that your life, Bezrat Hashem, will change completely. Assuming that you really believe it's guaranteed. You have to believe, number one, you have to believe it's guaranteed. Number two, you have to think about what you're saying. Chavetz Chaim says that the man could taste like anything. But that's if you thought about it. If you didn't think about it, it tasted like nothing. Or some say it tasted like honey. Whatever it might be, you have to think about it, and you have to let the words penetrate your heart and fill yourself with emunah and bitachon. So again, I'm highly recommending Parshas Hamaan. If you would like to get my safer on it, please write to me at dytravis613@gmail.com. I'll send you the PDF. Please note if you want Hebrew or English, number one. Number two, if you would graciously contribute to our campaign, I would be so grateful. And if you're able to give $85 a month for a year, that's $1,020 over a year. Then I will daven passionately for someone that you asked me to for 40 days, including Friday Shabbos. I'm here. And I wish everybody the greatest bracha and tzlacha and siyata d'shmaya. That a person should have yishuv das. His head should be free to be given over to Torah. Of course, we have to do the proper shtadlus. As Ram ben Rambam says, just like there's an avera to do too much shtadlus, there's an avera to do too little shtadlus. A person has to know themselves very well. What's their level of emunah bitachon? What are their needs? Which nisyonos has Hashem given them? And certainly, saying Parshas Hamaan lowers the chiyuv hishtadlus. It changes the chiyuv hishtadlus because part of the amount of hishtadlus you do is according to your level of bitachon. There's a limit. Some hishtadlus is necessary, especially in this generation when we are intrinsically very low on emunah and bitachon. Some hishtadlus must be done. Each person has to make a cheshbon, a calculation with themselves, how much they need. But if a person's honest with themselves, they should be successful. Hashem should help us in this endeavor, and we should all be successful in Parnasa. Hashem should give us siyata d'shmaya. Please write to dytravis613@gmail.com. Be part of our initiative and get my Parshas Hamaan safe. Amen. Kain Tirtzah.